PAT Louisiana's finest. I say, who that? R.I.P. Tom Benson. Shout out to the whole Who That Nation. Now who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. Ooh, who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. I say who that? That fever, that flavor, that funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. You got that fever? Yeah, yeah, that fever for the flavor. Got that flavor? Yeah, yeah, that flavor for the funk. I got that fever, my people. See, we not equal, my people. I'm like that dog Saint underneath the steeple, my people. Got Drew Brees, he the feature, and our defense the sequel. The D-line and linebackers, man, they coming to reach 'em. Make enemies some believers, cause we overachievers. DBC 50-50 balls, and we call them keepers. Y'all come follow this leader, cause Sean Payton will teach ya.
Saints Talk listeners, what's up? We back. It's another week of Saints Talk, the official podcast of NewOrleans.Football. As always, I'm your host, Kevin Washington, and I'm here with Nick Underhill, the man behind NewOrleans.Football. And we're here to talk about the Saints. Nick, what's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Good. Well, yeah, I'm good. I'm good enough. Good as I can be. Shout out to chat. Thank you guys for joining us. We got 3 people in here. I know it's a little weird when Saints lose, and it's usually maybe sometimes a little bit less, but you guys are hardcore loyal people. So yeah, man, thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it. I know I see a lot of some other pod hosts, and sometimes they be like, man, it's a loss. I don't even feel like recording, and the listeners are gonna be down. And I mean, sometimes you guys, it'd be an L, and y'all in here anyway. So we appreciate that, and yeah, we just want to let you guys know we appreciate it. And yeah, man, keep supporting us. We appreciate it.
And shout out to our guy, Daniel Sant CPA, always showing the love, keeping the lights on at the podcast. Are you a business owner needing some guidance with your daily accounting? Daniel Sant CPA can help get your finances in order. Daniel Sant also helps out regular folks who need help getting their finances in order, just managing their taxes better. He'll find a way to save you some money. Tax season's coming up, so hit him up. They provide relevant accounting information, detailed analysis, and clear communication in a timely manner. Call today, 318-321-2765, or visit santcpa.com. That number and those links are in the show notes. And then also shout out to our guys at Firehouse Subs at the Veterans location. They look out for everybody, look out for the community. Go eat a sandwich there, help them out, because they do a lot of stuff that's really, really good in the community. And last but not least, check out busr.com. It's a premium online gaming site that offers sports, casino, and horses where you can enjoy custom features such as building your own bets with their prop builder, betting on every aspect of the sport with live betting, low wagering requirements, fast payouts, and premier bonuses. And right now they have a promo going on. It's $10 free just for signing up. No deposits even required to get to $10. Sign up and get $10 free with the promo code THANKS21 and use the link busr.com/NewOrleans. That's in the show notes. And that offers for new accounts only. And they were doing a giveaway, $250 for someone that signed up last week. That went out to Cantrell. Your account's been credited with $250. So go check that out. You got some money in there to play some bets. And that's everybody. That's everybody we got to shout out. And of course, the listeners, as Kevin said, we love y'all. And thanks for being here.
Mic on mute. All right, guys. Housekeeping out the way. Is the sky falling?
A little bit.
There you go. That's a fair answer. If you said anything else, I was probably gonna,
Yeah, I think a little bit, man. It's been bad. They're on the wrong side of things right now. Things are skidding a little bit, and they got to find a way out of it. And with all the injuries and everything, it's looking hard to find the way that they're gonna right the ship this week. It doesn't necessarily mean that the skies fell. You can push it back up, but it's coming down a little bit, and they got to find a way to, they got to get those umbrellas up and figure out how to trudge through it and get to a better spot. But yeah, a little bit. Things are bad. Things are bad right now. 3 losses in a row, and there aren't a lot of silver linings within those 3 losses, other than that you can say that there's a lot of injured players, and at some point they'll be back. But are they going to get back quick enough? It's a race right now, and they got to find a way to win a game soon. They got to stop the skid. And even beyond that, and this might not be a real thing, but it just kind of feels like psychologically, having a losing record makes it harder to find your way through things. And, if you get to the point where you fall below that threshold, which they could do this week, I think it probably becomes a little bit harder to look at, okay, this guy's hurt, we're going to find a way through. At this point, it's this guy's hurt, and we've lost 4 games in a row if this one goes, and now I have a losing record, and all that good stuff we did early in the seasons been washed away. So I think psychologically that there's an aspect of needing to win this game, but really any game to stop the 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. I agree. I do. Yeah, I think I looked up today and the sky was a little bit closer than it was maybe the week before, and then the week before was a little bit further away. So yeah, I do think it's they're in a little bit of a skid, and it's tough because it seems like some of the same issues that have been bothering them and been affecting them, in the past weeks, it seems like they're continuing to happen. So, what's the fix here, right? Is it the players? Is it the scheme? Is it, what's going on? Guys can't catch the ball, maybe some protection breakdowns have happened. They can't move the ball early in the games. It's like these same issues are occurring over and over. And so I think that's what kind of puts it in that sky falling category because, good teams have bad weeks, right? And sometimes they have a bad couple of weeks. Kansas City, for instance, and I'm not comparing the Saints offense to the Kansas City offense, but they struggled early in the season. But, you kind of knew that there was maybe light at the end of the tunnel. There were players there that could, maybe help things get alleviated. There were some things they can do different. With this, where the Saints are right now, I just don't really see the answers, right? I don't see the answers in the building. The trade deadline is passed. Guys are hurt, and so it's kind of hard to be not pessimistic when you look at the outlook of just where they're going. And I'm just saying short term, and maybe long term it's the same, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But I just do think short term is kind of hard to look at them and say, wow, I think this can get better.
Yeah, no, it's, you look at the injuries, there's a lot of guys out. That kind of adds to the pessimism. There's guys not practicing. It feels urgent every time someone's not out there. And granted, today's just a walkthrough. And, I think that some of these guys that weren't practicing could very easily play without being part of a walkthrough. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow in the practice and everything. But they got to get healthy. They got to get out there. They got to win a game. And this last game was rough. I mean, it took away a lot of. I don't think that the same optimism with like the Trevor Siemian led offense is the same as it was a couple weeks ago. I think that we're kind of seeing very clearly what that actually is at this point, and being like, oh well, he looked good in the fourth quarter. Oh, he looked good in the fourth quarter. When it's 3 games in a row and you only look good in the fourth quarter, there's a problem now. Instead of after one game, oh he looked good here and you let him back. That's okay. It wasn't on the quarterback. And then week 2, well he fought his way back. 3 weeks in a row, it's when are you going to get started? You can't play like this anymore. Like you can't wait till the fourth quarter. There's a trend now, a very clear trend that he can only succeed when they're behind and the defense is playing a certain way. And that's beyond the receivers. That's quarterback as well. And so now we see the flaws in that. It's defensively, I think for, the better part of 3-4 weeks now, you've seen more leakiness than you had seen earlier in the season. And that's a huge problem with the way that they have to play these games. And is that all their fault? No, it's absolutely not all their fault. Giving up 240 on the ground is a little bit easier when the other team has the ball for, I don't even know what it was, but it felt like 75% of that game. So that degree of difficulty is sky high in the offense is leading to that. But the way this team is built, the defense can't be leaky at all. They can't give up 25-yard runs. They can't give up 40-yard passes, and too much of that's happening. So too much is trending the wrong direction. And I think the pieces are there when they're healthy. I think the coaching's there for them to right this. But again, it has to happen like right now. Like there is a 4-game window here. And depending on how it goes, I think the season's going to be decided in the next 4 weeks. And those games are Buffalo, Dallas, Jets, Bucks. You got to figure something out.
Yeah, I was just pulling up that. And so, the good news is that a couple of those games, and I mean, I guess you can speak to this. On the surface, it's like, okay, well, they got some games at home and that may be, something that helps them. But, home field advantage is I'm not sure it's the same across the NFL. I don't think it's just really Saints specific. It seems like, and I think at some point you alluded to like maybe the defense being better on the road with respect to maybe some of the communication. Yeah, with respect to some of the communication things. But, again, I'm trying to find a silver lining here, right? I'm trying to say, okay, well, what can get better? And it's tough because you just got through the soft part of your schedule, right? I mean, the Tennessee team, regardless of their record, they're very beatable. They just lost to the Texans. Atlanta was a very beatable team, and Philly is a team that should have been beatable. So, I feel like there's a missed opportunity with respect to the schedule because, now you have to beat the hard teams, right? Which I guess that's what they've done this year. They beat Green Bay and they beat Tampa, but I don't think that's something that you can continue to depend on, with the team as it is, right? And so, again, it's like hit after hit, right? It's just hit after hit. You just alluded to the practice report today. I just pulled it up. It's like Kamara out, Ramczyk out, Davenport out, Passanio out, Ingram out, right? Armstead limited. I don't know how Ty Montgomery
when Kevin says out, you mean did not practice?
Did not practice.
In case anyone listens to this late and they're like, "Oh, these guys are out." Like, no, they haven't been rolled out yet. They did not practice.
Out of practice. My bad.
Yeah.
Good catch. Ty Montgomery must got a prosthetic pinky because from what I saw,
cut it off, man. Who did that? Like Ronnie Lott or something? Somebody cut off their finger on the sideline.
Oh, Ronnie Lott. Yeah, he'd rather lose his hand, pinky, than lose a. Listen, I will miss a podcast. Not recording. I'm not here, bro. That's for life.
Speaking of, I got a couple things to bring up to you once we get on the other side of this topic.
All right. Well, hopefully they're not as sad as what we're talking about.
No.
But yeah, and then full Taysom, Simeon, and Ty Montgomery. So, I look at that practice report and I'm like, man. And then Troutman is our now, and man, we spoke at length about him. Probably the past 3 pods we've been speaking about him. Some for the members only, and some here for Saints Talk. But he's someone that you kind of felt like was getting some steam. And then now he's probably out for the year, potentially, right? I don't want to speculate on it.
4 to 6. So, it's possible he doesn't play again. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Landon Young is on injured reserve. I mean, the guy played 1 game. He was grimacing on the sidelines during the game.
O-line couldn't have worse luck, man. Honestly, it's unbelievable how hard they've been hit.
Yeah, Pete
on that line.
Pete is, he's out. They missed McCourt early in the year. It's like they never really got a chance to get going, right?
It's no wonder things are going sideways. Honestly, like Teron Armstead was out, Ramczyk's out, Pete was out, Landon Young out, Jameis out, Alvin missed game, Mike Thomas out for the year, Troutman out. I mean, come on, man. Like, that's just offense. At some point, it's too much. And they might have hit that threshold. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they find their way back. But it's extremely understandable. We do have a little promo going here. Our guy Mace donated a couple tickets in the 100 level for this game Thursday night. We're going to give them out to any new subscribers that sign up to NewOrleans.Football, NewOrleans.Football/subscribe, any plan. And you guys get on those. And then we got another set we're going to give away to existing subscribers that we bought for that giveaway. So if you are not signed up, sign up to the site, get a chance to get some tickets, get in there Thursday night, Thanksgiving, check that game out. And links in the show notes if you don't want to type all that in. But sign up for any plan, you'll be entered into the raffle. So new subscribers, smaller poll, you got a good chance of winning. So get in there and get some tickets.
Yeah. Shout out to Pastor Mason Betha. Right.
Hey.
You gotta quantify the Mace.
So I want to ask you before we get into the next topic. You've talked a lot on this podcast about your athletic prowess, that you run a 4.3. You've stated that you run a 4.3.
4.4.
You've stated at one time that you could be a better NFL receiver than people that are on this team. Now, I think you probably saw that the USFL is back. Now, I'm not putting you in the NFL. I don't have any faith in you in the NFL. But if somehow we could arrange a tryout for the USFL, would you take part in it? And would you allow us to document it on the YouTube page?
No way.
Right. So it's all been cap. All the
there's no cap. There's no capping. There's no cap in here, right? I never said I ran a 4.3.
Well, 4.4.
No, I never said I ran a 4.4.
There's tape out there, man. You definitely said it.
I want to hear the tape, the serious tape, like not joking. Like, come on, man. I don't run a 4.3. I probably can run like a 4.8 or 4.9 right now. Just being honest. Come on. I'm like,
all right.
yeah, come on. Now,
So now that you've held to it, we're getting the truth. I like where this is heading. I like where this is heading. You got to purge yourself of like all the lies and all the sin before the holidays, man.
Hey, look, man, it's a new me, right? I will say this. I've seen the combine, some of those guys in that bench press. I've seen guys like do like 6 reps on the bench. That's a shame, though. I'm coming for those guys. Those are my ops. Like those
All
are
right.
my ops. The guys,
But
yeah.
but the actual football players.
No, I
all
don't
right.
want no smoke. No, I don't want no smoke. No, these guys, they go get shots at halftime and go back out there and play like it's nothing. Like, come on, man. I'm yelling from the sidelines. No.
They're getting at you in chat, man.
No,
Crawfish.
they can listen. I don't want no smoke with none of these NFL players at all. Listen, there's 2 people I want problems with: NFL players and Jameis Hive.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
that's
fair.
like no. Come on, man. No. That's off limits. That's off limits. I like my mental health. I like my physical health, and I just I got to protect those. But if you want to have like a civilian league or something like that,
No, we ain't trying to have no civilian. I was just trying to get some YouTube content and get some
real
laughs
athletes,
because I knew you weren't running no 4.4. So
no way, bro. I've never run a 4.4 in my life. By the way, no way. I've probably gotten to maybe like a 4.7 when I was in high school. Like maybe like a 4.7, maybe if I'm on a great day. Straight line, I'm good. I'm almost 40, bro. I'm not doing no cuts.
So you're like Brandon Cooks.
Well, yes, but I know
line
what to do.
speed. No, you aren't getting free. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, but I know what to do in traffic though, right? I'm not running to the concussion, bro. Like, I'm not making joke of the concussion, but like, I'm not running to the defender. I'm running away from Derwin James and all these crazy DBs trying to take my head off. Paul said Tripp would do it. You know what? I would go against Tripp if you organize a athletic competition between me, Tripp. I'd compete in that.
I'm confident Tripp will beat you in a race.
That's not happening.
Yeah, he would beat you. He would. I have seen Tripp run. I have seen Tripp race people. He'd beat you, man. Tripp's a runner. Tripp is a runner.
Chance. Bring Tripp on. I'll text him right now. Mike, jump into the restream. Let me know if you want to do this. Because Tripp ain't beat me in no race, man. I will not show my face. I can't come back.
Yo, I'm telling you, I think Tripp will get you in a race.
How old is Tripp?
He's in his 40s.
No, I got it. I got to get him.
That man's a runner. He runs every day, man. And he sprints. He's a sprinter.
He might beat me anything over 100 meters. I'm dust, right? But like anything under 100, like nah, I got it.
All right, we'll see, man. We'll see. Someday we're gonna arrange that.
Yeah, I'm smoking.
Like I'm not even hating. Like this man is a good runner. That's all I'm saying.
But you never seen me run though, so it's like I feel good about it though. I feel good about it.
I see how you backing up already though. So I don't know. Anyway.
I might be
real athletes.
Am I a better option than Malcolm Perry? I might be, because brother, we are picking from. And listen, no disrespect to Malcolm Perry, but it's bad, right? It's bad. So, I mean, what offensively, like, this is probably the hardest question I'm going to ask you all year. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do at this point, right? Like, theoretical Tripp beat theoretical Kevin. No, theoretical Kevin is like all pro. Like, come on now. Yeah. Theoretical Kevin. Now, real life is, I'm like a 10th stringer or something like that. But yeah, so, what's the solution, right? If you're Sean Payton, you're Pete Carmichael, you're Rochar, you're these guys, you're in the room, Zach Strief, all these guys, like what's the plan here? Like, your O-line is decimated. Your backfield is decimated. Your wide receiver group is decimated. Your tight end group is decimated.
So we're talking worst case. We're talking worst case scenario. Everybody that's hurt.
Well, I think right now it's worst case, right?
So you beat but yeah, but in what you're saying right now, like basically no Ramczyk, no Alvin, no Mark, and those are the main guys that are
like
that
reality.
Are hurt.
Yeah, like it's kind of like yeah, exactly. You got the question.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I'm not rolling all these guys out as of Tuesday night. I don't know which way all of them are going to go. But look, what if those guys can't play? Let's say they can't play. I think my game plan in this one would be to max protect and try to take shots, and that's it. That would basically be how I would try to go about this, because I don't know that you're going to be able to run. I don't know that you're going to be able to sustain drives. So you got to try to get it, try to get some big plays, kind of how they played early in the season. Is just they tried to manufacture some shots with Jameis. They would run. I don't know that you got the run option as much, but that was basically the offense. The passing offense was try to get deep, run some 2-man routes, things like that. I mean, that's what I would kind of go back to in this one and try to manufacture it that way. It's going to be hard. The one thing I would say is that Buffalo is skidding kind of the same way the Saints are. They have more talent on, their offense and available players, but they might not be as stout as people thought. So, try to get some of those big plays and hope for the best and play good defense. And that's really, really what you got to do in this one. I mean, there aren't a lot of options for moving the ball. And, I would almost even, and they'll never, ever do this because they just won't. Like, my plan would be try to go no huddle and just try to get your offense going like that, be in rhythm,
Yeah, I wish.
and try to just move the ball that way, because you got to find the way to manufacture it somehow. And at this point, I would dig in everywhere. And honestly, for me, my real answer here, I would start Taysom.
That's
And
the answer I was looking for.
And I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they would, but I would start Taysom and try to get some offense that way. At least there's something there that you can do it that way. But I don't think that's going to be something they do this week. But those are that's how I would go with it. I mean, I think you got to almost find the curveball somewhere somehow to manufacture some offense, because it's not just going to happen in the natural flow of things with the way you've been going. It's just I until I see it, I can't have any faith in it, man. Like, I don't have any faith that they're going to go out here in the first quarter and do anything, because they haven't in 3 games. And I'm sorry, but that I got to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a faith question at this point. Like, we don't need to. We can just look at film. There's all 22 available for everyone to look at and see. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of fact at this point, right? We don't have to really speculate on what the struggles are and what the capabilities of the offense
Right.
are. So,
and that doesn't mean they can't figure it out, but they haven't. And until they do,
yeah, I mean, miracles happen, right? Yeah, I mean, there's movies about it
don't
and
think
stuff. I mean, seriously, it would be a miracle if the offense became good. Like, literally, it would
good.
be
Yeah.
it
No,
would be
but
a
like
miracle.
I'm just looking for competent at this point,
Well, I
like
mean,
have a
as a
competent
miracle.
first quarter,
Yeah, that would be a
that's it.
miracle too. Yeah, that'd probably be a miracle. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm probably like, I think I would look at Taysom and I would hammer it into the guy's head. I would hard code his brain. One read, two read, run. I don't care who's coming across the flat. I don't care what the protection is. I don't care. Here's what you're gonna do, right? I'm gonna try to get you. We're gonna simplify this offense. You just need to make a couple of reads, right? If one of those guys are open, you throw it. If they're not, you run. Don't take a hit. Slide, protect yourself. But that's what I would do. I would build an offense, very, very, very specifically around the run game. And that sounds crazy because they've been really bad at running the ball, but I mean like Ravens, and they're not going to get to that level, but like the Saints, even when Taysom played quarterback, it still was a traditional run game. And I don't think they can run the ball traditionally, specifically more so with the injuries that they have now. So I think you got to get creative. Like, when you lack talent, you got to add scheme, right? You got to add deception. You got to add motion. You have to add all these different elements in the offense that's, in some cases, some people will call them non-traditional, but I don't think it's going to happen, right? This is like a super hypothetical question, but like, I think it's at this point, it's like what you've been trying the same thing over and over again, and you've not gotten results, right? You've not gotten results. You're the worst NFL offense through 3 quarters and the best against prevent defense, right? And so, yeah, I mean, something has to change, and I don't know if that's adding like a little bit, a play here this week, a few plays this week, and you kind of just build upon it. But I just don't think you can go out there with that same drop back offense and think that you're gonna like, sustain some type of success, just, specifically when you haven't been able to do it since week 1. So, yeah, I just think that, I don't want to say drastic change, but I do think you kind of gotta, look at where you start your offense, right? I think that'd be a good way to put it. Like, how am I starting the offense? Some of the things like Kyle Shanahan does, right? He does a lot of motion, right? He plays with defenders' eyes. You want to get a guy, taking a couple of false steps or, things like that. I think that's kind of what you have to do at this point because you can't do it with talent.
How'd you feel about the Taysom deal?
Man, that was a question I was going to ask you. I think that it is crazy to pay Taysom Hill $40 million a year. And I don't know what the hell the Saints are thinking by paying Taysom Hill this $40 million contract. And if you're going to pay a guy $40 million a year, then you got to start him.
$10 million a year over 4 years.
Well, I know I'm ESPN First Take right now, man. I'm trying to, I'm Stephen A. Washington right now.
It's $10 million a year for 4 years.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, even people were saying this was a $40 million contract, right? Yeah,
I got you.
All the crazy talk. Yeah, it went over your head. I can see it in your eyes. I was like, okay, he ain't getting it. I'm gonna just keep saying it, and eventually it's gonna click, But yeah, no, I mean, I get it. I think Taysom Hill is probably more valuable to New Orleans than he is to maybe any other team, right? I feel that way. I think that we know the history of players and the stability that they have when Sean Payton is a fan of said player, right? Sean Payton is a Taysom Hill fan. I don't know if it's warranted or not. I'm not here really to debate that, but he is. And so, it just doesn't surprise me. And also, they're going to need some cap flexibility, in the coming off season, right? And maybe it's to keep a guy like Marcus Williams on the team because, you can't let him go. He's one of the few guys that you got that's actually playing well, and you're gonna have to revamp some things, right? You're gonna need a wide receiver. You can't just depend on the draft. I saw someone say draft wide receiver for the first 2 rounds. I'm like, all right, well, you expect a rookie to come in and fix all the problems with Mike Thomas? I don't know, right? So I just think that they're gonna need some cap flexibility and extending Taysom. I think $10 million a year. I don't know if I'd do it, but I understand it, and I think that's good enough for me.
I guess my main question about it is, like, if they offered him $30 million over 4 years, who's offering him 31? Like, that's my question. Like, who's offering him more money than that, and why do you have to pay that much? It feels a little high. Like, I would feel better about him at like $7.5 million a year, and I know that's not a drastic difference, and it's possible the numbers come in and that's kind of what it actually is, and then the last year's inflated or something like that. But I am curious about that, and I do understand keeping him around though. I think that there's value there. I think that if you can possibly get to the other side of all of this and he kind of sees where he stands in the hierarchy of your quarterback plan, and then even in the larger NFL scope of, okay, this is where I'm at on that list of players. Maybe I'm a little more willing to focus and prepare to do these other things and provide more value there for a $10 million per year salary. I think there's a world where he's at least comes close to being worth that much money, but he has to do more. He has to play more as a tight end and, on special teams and in the joker role overall. And if he does that, I think that there's a value there. And I think there's a reason that when you look at this contract, when it comes in, I'm fairly confident that it's going to look almost identical step for step to what Austin Hooper got. And, I think there's a reason that this contract was structured after a tight ends. And I just kind of think that's what it's going to look like. And I wonder if going forward that there's going to be a little bit more emphasis on all the other things. And if there are, it makes more sense to me. But if you're paying him $10 million a year to continue to compete as a quarterback, look, no, this is no disrespect to him or anybody else, regardless of how everybody, unless he drastically changes the conversation, if he were to get a chance and then drastically changes the conversation, this team is going into the offseason with a massive need at quarterback, and it has to be better than what it was this year all the way around. And I don't know if that's, bringing someone back and putting a ton of players around them and then they can succeed. But I think overall that they need to at least be looking at options at quarterback, and then everything else is plan B. But I think that the next guy ideally is not in the building right now. And that's no disrespect to anyone. I think that if you can aim extremely high, you aim extremely high. And Taysom would be better off to himself, to everybody else, if he was more willing. And I don't want to act like he's unwilling, but like if he went into the offseason like, all right, I'm going to be in the Joker role and I'm preparing for that, and I'm not going to lose this weight, and I'm not going to change my body, and I'm going to be ready to do all these things, and I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to earn my money and my keep through this role. I think that there's a chance that he you know, you look at the contract and you're like, okay, this makes sense. But it has to be that for me, for it to make sense.
Yeah. When you said this, it's similar to the Austin Hooper contract, that kind of like was a little bit of a trigger because
Yeah, he hasn't lived up to it.
and Austin Hooper, at least before, he was a productive tight end, right?
He was like 500 yards a season, I think, probably about.
Yeah. He had that year before. I mean, he had the good year before he signed the contract with Atlanta, and I understand the Cleveland's thought process there, but I mean, how much was Austin Hooper? Did he get what was? Do you have his year per year, his YPA? Oh,
Yeah, it's 10.
okay, so
I think he got 42 over 4 or something like that. That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's too much. If you're paying Taysom that as a tight end, that's way too much. Okay, it's egregiously too much. It's wild. That's a wild contract. If that's a tight end.
He does give you some other value though in addition to
But that's
it.
why I said as a tight end. That's why I said as a tight end, because just as a tight end, that'd be a crazy contract. But if you're saying backup quarterback, joker, special teams, just everything he adds to the team, like I said, I don't agree with it, but I think I understand their perspective on it. And I think their hands are tied a little bit too. They need some cap relief. So maybe you have to give, maybe you
I
have
think there
to.
were other places they could have got that though. Like if you wanted him off the team, you go look at their. I mean, there's a lot of guys with big base salaries and stuff. Like if you didn't want him on the team, you could have created space and got him off the team. And there's probably going to be guys that end up off the team that end up with dead money hits. So I mean, there are ways to do it. So it is a choice to keep him. Just my thing I keep coming back to is if you offered him 430, like where's he going to
give him 431 from?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think here's something that I can't ignore about that contract. There's a lot of quarterback base incentive, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just from the reporting on it, I don't know if anyone has their hands on the contract, but it sounds like there's a lot of quarterback base incentives in that contract.
Yep.
Right. If I'm Taysom Hill and I see that I can make $10 million doing this tight end joker thing, and I can potentially make $40 million doing this quarterback thing, what am I going to do? I'm going to do the quarterback thing. Because there's 4 times more money in the quarterback thing.
But right? He ain't going to get the shot, right? You got to have the shot to do it. And
I don't know.
Look, there's guys that negotiate like things in their contracts all the time that just like aren't going to happen. And like, I'm not going to say any names, but like there's like hilarious players that like negotiate like all pro incentives, and it's just like this isn't going to happen, but it's there just receiver. In case.
Yeah, I mean, like Ramczyk has the left tackle all pro thing.
That's a feasible
one. And so if you're Taysom,
it is feasible though that like if everybody gets hurt and you end up the starter and you do a good job.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean you could earn that upside, and I think it's smart to negotiate that in there, but I don't think that being in there gives him the leeway to say, all right, I'm not doing this stuff, I'm competing for this. I think you're paying him and saying, all right, look, man, you gotta focus on this, and then if this other thing happens, the upside's there for you, but this has to be the focus. And I think that's probably how it's going to be going forward.
Yeah, see, I'll be honest with you, I struggle with that. Because you're telling the player, we want you to do this tight end thing, but you're tying my money to a quarterback.
But you have to have the opportunity to make that money, and it's not if it's not the purpose, it's not there. And maybe you're paying him a little more to put that away. Honestly, like it might be like, look, man, we want you to do this stuff, the QB thing. You tried at it, all right.
Yeah, do that. And I would think that that's a pretty.
But I don't know if it's there.
I don't know if that's.
We're talking about him maybe starting a game at some point. So I mean, maybe, but
there you go, right?
I think what I'm saying though is like I don't think that being in there is going to create a problem and further alienate him from doing the other stuff. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, you have way more insight onto that stuff than me, so I won't even like begin to debate that point with you. But I do know if I was a quarterback, or if I was, if I was Taysom Hill, I'd be training as a quarterback this offseason. Because in one position, I can take a lot of hits and make $10 million. The other position, I can take fewer hits and make $40 million.
I just don't think he's
And
gonna have the. I just don't think they're gonna hand the job to him
and
though.
yeah,
And he
that's
worked at it and couldn't beat out. You know, he didn't beat out Jameis. He didn't beat out Trevor Siemian. I mean,
yeah. I don't think he's gonna be a quarterback. Absolutely not. But you know, like I said, as just personal, that's what I would be going for, I guess. Like if they, I would be training to be a quarterback because I know this money is tied to being a quarterback. And like I said, you're right. It's like they may be telling him one thing, but the money is the main voice, right? And the money is tied to being under center. And so I just think again, I think it makes it a difficult contract to talk about, right? Because like you said, we know this money is tied to a quarterback, and then they just extended him, and is it a tight end? And I don't even think we understand his role, right? I mean, I think was it 2 games ago when they were like Taysom's going to be heavily involved, and I think they barely used him in some parts of the game. So
it's
I
because
get,
they never got into a rhythm. They never
yeah,
had anything going for 3/4.
yeah, that's fair, but your offense is bad, so I mean,
You got to
I,
you got to get a first down at some point to you know
I
put
think he would
people
be
on the field.
or could he be the catalyst for getting the first down, right?
Yeah,
Like I
but
think we were just saying like, man, maybe they should try to start this guy, right? So yeah, it's a hard topic because again, like you said, me and you, we just had a conversation about, man, should he be starting as quarterback? And then next in the next sentence we have to talk about him as a joker, a joker tight end slash fullback slash halfback slash
I'm
gunner.
just telling you, I think that's how they view him. I don't think the quarterback thing's an issue. Like I
Yeah,
don't think that's going to change how he approaches anything.
yeah,
And
okay.
I don't think that's going to. I don't think that affects how they approach him. It's just I think if the opportunity were to happen, he were in that role, the upside's there, and they're protecting to make sure that if for some reason he ends up in that, he gets the market value. But I don't think it's gun for it and here you are.
You got a
This is
chance or
go
something.
compete for it and make it happen. I don't think that's where they're at. But look, they could end up in next offseason and maybe they don't get a quarterback. Maybe Jameis signs somewhere else. They don't get someone else. And you are in a spot where now these are your options that are on your roster
Trevor
because
Siemian and Taysom.
yeah. And then maybe he becomes, but I don't think that it's the plan. I think that
Yeah,
would be like, if then maybe
yeah.
here you go, you can get there.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I totally agree with that. And if I had to bet money on what the Saints were thinking, I would definitely be thinking Taysom Hill. I would bet my money on they're saying this guy is not our quarterback going forward. We do not
Right.
want him in that position. But if I was Taysom, I'd be practicing as a quarterback because you're just an injury or pinky away from hitting some of that $500,000 incentive or something. I don't know what's in the contract, but if you can start one game or play one game, maybe it's something tied to that. So I would get it from the player perspective, but from a team. But back to your original question, overall, I don't think I know you get contracts and you write about them, and you guys will eventually see an article from Nick on the site explaining the contract, and we'll be able to have like a more informed conversation about it then. But just on the surface, I don't think I'm a super fan of it, just because I think you made the point that I can't even refute. Like, who's going to give him the extra million? Who are you? Are you competing against yourself with this contract?
Yeah, it's a
Right?
little weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of it.
Man,
So,
just think about that man's life though for 1 second. Just let me make this one
oh
last
man,
point.
I know
This one
where
last
you're
point.
going.
Like
No,
just
go ahead.
like if Sean Payton have never scouted Max McCaffrey, Taysom Hill wouldn't have ended up here. And
Max
look,
McCaffrey.
just because they watched Max McCaffrey, I think that's going to end up making Taysom Hill. I don't know if he'll see this whole deal, but he's going to make 40-50 million dollars off of football. Where I don't think that would have happened if the Saints had never watched Max McCaffrey. He might still be in the league, he might not, but I don't think he'd be making a whole lot more than
Back
minimum.
Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, it took somebody seeing. And he didn't have the raw quarterback skills coming in, so I don't even know. Like he might have, but let's say he survives. It's probably minimum deals, $1 million, $2 million a year, something like that. But Sean Payton watching this guy play Max McCaffrey, being intrigued with him, bringing him in the building, seeing the skill set, putting him in a position to do all this other stuff. Like, he's going to make way more money than he ever would have just off of this like one chance scouting video of a coach watching a guy he was intrigued with for the bottom of the roster or practice squad, ends up making this other guy all this money. It's just incredible how that happens. And if they had never had a need at wide receiver and never looked at Max McCaffrey, like what happens to Taysom's life?
Yeah, he's probably. I had a joke, but yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, I think he's looking at he's lap Chase Daniel at this point. Like, it's
Yeah.
like,
He
yeah,
had to end
Chase
up in the right place for everything to work out the way it did. And there was only one place this plays out how it has.
Yeah, you got a NFL, one of the best NFL head coaches in the league who loves you as a player, and I mean, like I said, it goes back to, again, if Sean is your guy, then you're good, right? Look, Andy Tanner is probably somewhere in Aruba right now because of all them practice squads and game checks that he was on where he wasn't active and being active and inactive and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely think, if I was Taysom, I'd send Max McCaffrey I'd send him a Christmas card with a BYU jersey in there signed or something. I don't know, whatever he can do to thank that man, because yeah, it definitely seems like it was just like on the women to kind of change the whole outlook of his career. And he's being paid in some ways like a quarterback, but he's not a quarterback. And I don't know, he's just a hard player to talk about, right? He's a very polarizing guy because, man, I do feel bad for him because, like, I feel like the entire NFL media
Yeah.
outside of New Orleans just bombards this guy unfairly. Like, it's not even football related. It seems like it's a little personal, or people trying to get off jokes, which I get jokes, right? I like jokes too. I make them. But yeah, it just feels like it's not, his coverage is not fair.
People are over the top mad about him a lot. And
Yeah.
I kind of just like, I don't know. I kind of love to see how mad they get about it because it's just
I
ridiculous.
saw your tweet today. I do agree that you like to see how mad they get about it.
Yeah, it's just funny to me, and I kind of poked the hive a little bit. I had a couple Saints people coming at me like, it's like, I'm just kind of, commenting on how everybody else comments. I'm not really like offering
Saints,
an
like
opinion on
Saints,
anything.
like Saints or Saints?
No, there
You
were
said-
some like Saints fans that were on me a little
Oh,
bit.
Saints fans. I thought
But
you
like
meant
he's
people in the
polarizing within
organization.
the fan base too. But
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
I
that
thought you meant
stuff's-
like in the organization. I was like, dang, he's
No.
that polarizing?
No.
be
But yeah, I
crazy.
mean, it's funny to see how mad everybody gets about him. And there's really, I don't know, there's really no need for it. Like, it's just, it is what it is. You just speak about him like you would anybody else. Okay, he's a little overpaid. Fine.
Yeah.
To kind of move on from
So
it.
it's
But
Austin Hooper.
yeah. Anything about this guy though, like there's just a handful of people, and who they're going to be every time, and they're just like so over the top, and
Yeah.
it's like you can't really be this mad about this. Like, who
Well,
cares?
you know
Let
what?
them
I
make
will
it money.
say, I think there's a chance for redemption for some of these guys, because certain guys who, how do I say it? They always had a comment on the Saints salary cap situation. I feel like that narrative, they may be switching that narrative a little bit. Like, all right, these guys, they're making it work regardless. So maybe
Yeah.
Taysom will get some of that same grace from these.
Nah,
his
it'll never
ops.
happen. It'll never happen.
Yeah, well, Taysom got the ops, man. He got more ops
Yeah, he
than
does.
either one of more than either one of us.
Taysom's
So
got more money than all them people at this point, so good for him.
there you go. I think that's part of it too. I mean, like I said, he's a hard player to talk about. Man, who would have thought we did a whole podcast about Taysom Hill? But you guys, it's either that or you guys can listen us talk about how the Saints are lost their last 3 games. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, he's just a hard player to talk about, and he's interesting though. But I'll just go back. I think that contract is just a little tricky. But we'll see how it turns out. But I think you said it maybe frees up 8.9 million.
Well, no, it'll
potential.
actually like free up like 6 some, because there's like 2.1225 million per year that's going to stay on the cap from the previous deal.
Okay.
So that all those years we're going to accelerate and hit 8.9. So it frees up like about 6 something. So you can figure the way this thing, I mean, we can ballpark how this thing's going to be structured, probably like a $10 million signing bonus.
Yeah, spread
So
out.
that puts you at 4.6, and then probably like a league minimum base salary in year 1. So you're probably around like 5-6 million in year 1. And then I would guess
Cap
in
hit.
year 2, there's probably like a $9 million roster bonus. that'll get converted into a signing bonus
Signing
prorate
bonus.
over the years. So he'll probably get most of the $22.5 million in the first 2 years. That's guaranteed, and
Okay.
he'll be sitting there,
Sitting
making his
pretty
yeah,
in Utah in a
yeah,
mansion
yeah.
somewhere in the outside of Salt Lake. I ain't mad at him, man. Uh, one thing I kind of want you to touch up on is was Adam Troutman playing better before he got hurt? Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, I told you before the one game I thought he redeemed himself and he made that catch at the end and he got hurt, and then last week he jumped off sides, but I thought that the receiving aspect of his game was getting better the
yeah,
last 3 weeks,
3 weeks.
and he was Simeon's most targeted.
Favorite receiver,
Yeah,
man.
he was coming on. You were starting to see a little bit of growth from him. I think we've talked about the nature of the two quarterbacks, kind of how they target the field, and that Simeon's more of a short to long guy, and Jameis was kind of more of a long to short guy. And I think just the nature of those quarterbacks got that going and suited Troutman a little bit better. And I think you were seeing him come to life just being with the quarterback who played a style of game that was going to get him more targets. But he was doing okay with them. Let's not act like he was, flying up the river or anything like that. It was progress, steps back, progress, step back. But you were starting to see a little bit more progress, and especially in that receiving aspect. So it is unfortunate to see him come out. Like I said on the members only, I thought the way that he responded to the adversity was important. I think that was a big step for him, a big just kind of show that, hey, okay, I messed up on this 2 point, but that's not gonna affect me the next week. And I think he answered that really well. And he did what he needed to do in this game. Who's to say what the next one was gonna look like because it was that up and down, but you were seeing growth from him at least, and there's still a lot more to go, but it's unfortunate just in terms of his development that he's not gonna get this, at least the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, well, he went out on top. He left us with like at least some.
Yeah, he left on a high note for sure.
Yeah, so off season we were like, all right, now the whole talking point is going to be for man. They need a tight end. So like, okay, well if Troutman can,
I still think they need another one.
yeah, man. Well, at least he gave us a little hope. So I
I
think
mean,
I
to
need
pair
to.
with them, yeah, I think though they need another
Yeah,
one.
yeah, definitely. So I think I should just start calling everybody a disaster, and then maybe these guys will start playing better. Minus the injury, right? But yeah. Who else is playing well? Because it's got to be,
Davenport, but he's hurt.
man. I don't even want to have that conversation anymore. I mean, I don't. I think you said it earlier this year. I don't even want to rehash it, but I don't even think we need to discuss about what he is as a player anymore. I think we know that he's a good NFL player. I don't think we even need to debate that. I think availability is just his. That's just something that he has to figure that out because I don't think the value. I'm not going to say the evaluation was right. I think they probably expected him to be a better player than what he is, especially if you give up that type of compensation and pick him where you picked him. But he's not a bust, talent wise, anything like that. I just think he's a guy who can't stay on the field.
I think they were right about his potential and upside. I think when we've seen it, it's there. It's just sustaining it, and really the issue with
Sustaining it.
sustaining it at this point is just the health. So
Yeah,
I don't think there's really anything with the scouting of the talent that was wrong. I think maybe, and look, you can't scout injury the injury stuff is just there's really no way of knowing. I think that there was maybe I don't know how to word this, but I mean he's talked about like confidence issues and stuff like that, coming into this year. So there might have been a little bit of a miss on the personality, but it's not an issue. He's figured it out. So
I mean, I was so happy to see him get into that fight. I was like, there you go, bro. Like, get a flag or something. Hit him late. Like,
yeah,
do something. I'm pretty sure coach would be cool with it, man, especially coming from you. But yeah, I guess I'll say, like, if I'm trading up and giving away a future first for a pass rusher, I would expect more production. I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I would expect more production than what he's given. And that doesn't mean they missed on the talent evaluation. I just don't think it's played out ideally like you would have liked it, right? But I think if you pick a player in the first round, you expect more production than what he's had like in the upper half of the first round. But if you, like I said, if you move up and give that type of compensation, I personally would have liked to seen the guy by then have like maybe double-digit sacks and
Yeah,
play more games and stuff like that. So I do think there was a little bit of a miss there,
for
but
sure.
I get the evaluation and I get the pick. I'll stand behind it. I think I don't think they missed on it or anything. I just think it hasn't turned out perfectly. But I just hope he's not out long because part of it is like personal too. I don't, it's just I can see it now. It's like, okay, the guy started playing well and maybe, people was laying off on him. Now it's like if he gets hurt and he's out for a while, and now it's just gonna be that same
Yeah,
talking
unfortunately,
point and
yeah.
the same people and the same, that's type. And personally, like I just don't want that for him just because
Yeah,
clearly it
it's
affects
tired of
him.
it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
tired of seeing it myself. Yeah,
it affects him, and I just think if it's cool to make jokes, and like I said, I make jokes. So I joke about Traquan Smith. If Traquan had like mental and stuff like that, I wouldn't make any more jokes about the guy. Just me personally, I'm not attacking anybody that does, but just for him, I just hope it's not something that he has to continue to deal with. And I guess Marcus is the other guy that I thought was out of his mind this past
oh yeah,
Sunday. Like I think you tweeted it out like a pitch of some
yeah. The
screen grabs
stills.
of
Yeah,
him
yeah.
where the guy was like he was in the stands getting popcorn before the
Yeah,
play
it
started.
was crazy. Crazy how he saw that.
Yeah, by the end of the play, he was, knocking the. I think he saved probably 2 touchdowns that game too, because
Yeah, he did.
those are scores. So, sign him, right? Sign him. That's who I'd be trying to sign off season. That's the guy you need to keep in the building because he's been playing, and this is not new. Marcus has been good for years. Yeah. So, he's someone you definitely want to keep in the building. So, what else you got?
I ain't got nothing.
Man, when I say that, that means you guys know the pod is ending. Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to our sponsors. Thank you guys for supporting us. We appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely appreciate any support. Firehouse Subs, Sant, CPA, and everybody else. Shout out to the subscribers for NewOrleans.Football. Thank you guys. We can't do this without you guys. If you guys are in chat and you're not subscribed, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Just
Sign up, get entered for a
NewOrleans.Football.
ticket. Sign up, get
Yeah,
entered for a ticket Thursday night. Thursday night. Sign up.
there you go,
Two
man.
tickets. Two tickets rather. Two tickets
Just
in the
do it.
100 section.
It's a link right there. You guys are looking at the pod. NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. There's a song back in the days. It's called "I Ain't Too Proud to Beg." I'm old enough to remember that song. So, you guys go to NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Support us, man. We joke about it, man. If you can't laugh, then life ain't fun, man. So, but we really do appreciate the support from everybody, guys. Happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. Get full. Do like me and drink a bunch of green juice before Thanksgiving because it's gonna be like slaughter on the day of. Everybody have a happy holiday. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you, I guess, in a couple of days because we got pods to record. We out.